let's go on with 50. Jeremiah.
Okay, okay. So let's read on. Okay, a message about Babylon. This is the word Yah spoke through Jeremiah the prophet concerning Babylon and the land of the Babylonians. See, I said area. Same difference, but you're going to see. Verse 2. Announce and proclaim among the nations. Lift up a banner and proclaim it. Keep nothing back, but say, Babel will be captured. Baal will be put to shame. Marduk is a Hebrew word which means rebellion. So rebellion will be filled with terror. Her images will be put to shame, and all her idols filled with terror. A nation from the north will attack her and lay waste her land.
All right, so let's talk about that, because that was one that you pointed out to me, where you're saying a nation to the north. Now, in this book, if we're, you talked about the globe. If you get the globe and you go north from the United States,
through Canada,
why can't we be looking at Canada?
Because, first of all, Canada is not a power, a superpower. Canada couldn't defeat America in 1 hour in a single day. And then, second to that, Yah gives the names of those nations. And it's Canada is not one.
What was the name? Where to give a name?
We're going to keep on reading on.
Okay, so, but when we're talking about north, point out how you get to north with respect to this.
Wait a minute, what'd you say, point out north?
How do you get to north? Because if you're looking at it, we talked about this, if you're looking at a globe, and you go north of the United States, you get to...
You come to Canada.
And then after that?
You come into Russia's back door.
Okay.
Because right above Canada is Russia.
Okay. All right, so go ahead.
A recap, verse 3. A nation from the north will attack her and lay waste her land. No one will live in it. Both man and animal will flee away. Now, a lot of people try to say that this is ancient Babylon. But see, that didn't happen. And, of course, you have to talk to my husband because he has helped me a whole lot in history, as far as world history, because that was one of my subjects. I always hated world history because it was always history about white folks. And I was like, man, I want to hear something other than them. But it was important to learn these things and to know that ancient Babylon was not destroyed by an army from the north. They were just the different empires that rose up at that time. They just became part of those empires, but they were never destroyed by an army of the north.
Okay.
Because even in those times, our people were still living in Babylon at that time because only a few went back to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, but the majority of our people, they stayed in Babylon.
All right.
Okay. All right. Verse 4. What is that? Verse 4. In those days and at that time declares Yah, the people of Yashara'al and the people of Yaquata together will go in tears to seek Yah their power. And it goes back to what I said again. In the times of Nebuchadnezzar and his son, who were the rulers of Babylon during that time, when they were down in, they had to be in captivity in 70 A.D. in Babylon. Our people did not leave there going in tears and weeping and whatnot. Only a few left to go and rebuild the temple, but the majority of our people stayed. So that's not talking about that time. Okay, this is got to be talking about something that hasn't even happened yet. Okay, verse 5. They will act the way to Zion. Now, I'll go back again. Ancient Babylon is south of Zion. So why would our people have to ask the way to there? They knew their homeland.
Right.
Unlike us, we didn't know that, but they were from the land, so they knew where Zion was. They didn't have to ask the way there. All they had to do was travel north.
Right.
So we know that that's not talking about those people at that time during that Empire of Babylon.
Right.
This is a different time.
Okay.
He says they will ask the way to Zion and turn their faces towards it. They will come and bind themselves to Yah in an everlasting agreement that will not be forgotten. Now he starts to go into a little bit of our history and what has happened to us while we're in this condition. He says, my people have been lost sheep, lost tribes, lost our identity. We don't know who we are, so now we're over here in this land and any other portion of the earth that we've been scattered abroad, and we're known not by our nationality as being Hebrews. We're known by being black, niggers, Negroes, African Americans, and etc. So he says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds, meaning our ministers, our leaders, have led them astray and caused them to roam on the mountains. They wandered over mountains and hills and forgot their own resting place. Our people forgot our own culture. That's the resting place. We forgot all about this. And what man teach us? They teach us religion from our history book. So that's a stumbling block that they place before our people. Whoever found them devoured them. That's what they do today. They devour us with our own words because we don't know. It's been lost to us. So therefore, people take our own history book that once upon a time, if you were caught during slavery time, if you were caught with a Bible, you were killed right off the bat. If you were caught trying to read this word, you were killed. Now, what our oppressors do, now they turn around and feed us Jesus. That's what they do with it. Feed us Jesus. And Jesus say, love your enemy. Love everybody. Right. That's what they give us today. So it's just like he's saying, whoever found them devoured them. Their enemy said, we are not guilty, for they have sinned against Yah, their true pasture. Yah, the hope of their fathers. So what the Gentiles say today, our oppressors say today, he said, man, we ain't done nothing wrong. We're not guilty because we done translated it into our language, and now we teach it, and we got rid of the Hebrew Messiah, and we gave them a white Christ. We got rid of all of their ancestors. We changed their names and made their names sound more European, and so we ain't done nothing wrong because first of all, they wouldn't be in this predicament and because they sinned against their Creator. So that's why they're in this predicament. So we ain't done nothing wrong. But okay, we'll see. So that's what our oppressors say. Verse 8, he says, flee out of Babylon. Leave the land of the Babylonians or Aryans, because the same Greeks, same people. And be like the goats that lead the flock. For I will stir up and bring against, and I just want to read it like I always read it. For I will stir up and bring against America an alliance of great nations from the land of the north.
Now,
he said, hold on. He said, an alliance of great nations from the north. Canada is only one nation, so we know he ain't talking about Canada. Canada can't even really defend his own self.
But Canada wouldn't go against the United States. I was just wanting to get at how we got north, because
go ahead.
I just want to know how we got at north, because when you go north, it's like there's that's North Pole. What else is there? But you're saying north across the North Pole, which brings you, if you draw an arrow from the United States up north and then across our globe, and you come down, and you get to those nations, which include Russia, and then underneath Russia is China.
Right, exactly. And then again, on this map that I have on my wall, on my world map, you got the Western Hemisphere, so you got Canada, Greenland, you got Greenland, Canada, United States, Mexico, and Brazil on your left. And then on your right, you have Russia, which is north, right diagonally across from Canada and Greenland. And then you have China right underneath Russia. And you got, of course, Africa. And then on further south, you got Australia and India. So it's still north. Russia is still north, regardless if you go through from Canada all the way north or whether you're on the other side of the globe. Russia is north. It's north of Europe.
Right.
So, regardless, it's still north. It's still one of the northern nations.
Now, you called Babylon the United States in verse 9.
Mm-hmm. Let's finish reading, because we're gonna go in Revelations and hit it right out the park.
Okay,
and
go
then
ahead.
You're gonna understand why I call her, because in Revelation it hits it right out the park.
Okay.
You ain't gonna have no question about who this is talking about.
Okay.
Okay, it says, so verse 8, he says, "Flee out of Babylon, leave the land of the Aryans, be like the goats that lead the flock. For I will stir up and bring against America an alliance of great nations." Go back to Canada again. Canada is not a great nation.
Right.
Canada is actually under the rulership of Europe.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay. And from the land of the north, they will take up their positions against her, and from the north she will be captured. Their arrows will be like skilled warriors who do not return empty-handed. Now, we ain't talking about no little arrows where your bow and so forth. Now, we're talking about nuclear warfare now. We're in the big leagues. We ain't talking about no little, because just like y'all said, whatever it hits, it don't miss what it hits. So we're talking about some serious firepower. It says, verse 10. "So America will be captured. All who plunder her will have their fill, declares Yah. Because you rejoice," talking about America, "because you rejoice and are glad, you who pillage my inheritance." Well, who's his inheritance? His people. The same people that he talked about in Genesis 15 when he told Abraham, "Know for certain that your descendants going to be in a strange land, because I'm going to send them into slavery now. But they going to be ill-treated, and they going to be enslaved for 400 years. But that nation," he didn't say all the nations, because our people scattered. They are scattered about the whole world. But it's this one particular nation that he has great indignation with, that he's talking about. And as you see, it's singular, not plural. So he's talking about this one particular nation that who they serve. I'm going to judge that nation who they serve as slaves. And afterwards, your people going to come out with great possession.
What verse is that where you saying that? Where are you getting that from?
That's in Genesis.
Genesis, what is that?
Genesis 15.
Okay, Genesis 15. Okay, so let's go ahead with this one.
Okay. And let's just read. We're going to get to all this.
Okay.
Verse, what's that? These numbers are so small. 11. Okay. "Because you rejoice and are glad, you who pillage my inheritance. Because you frolic like a heifer threshing grain, all happy and merry and neigh like stallions. Your mother will be greatly ashamed." Who was America's mother? Where did she come from? Europe.
Okay.
Remember when they were fighting the Civil War, Britain and America, because America was trying to gain her independence from her mother Europe?
Right.
That's what all that's about. So we know who he's talking about. Who was America's mother? Europe. So he says, your mother will be greatly ashamed. She who gave you birth will be disgraced. She will be the least of the nations, a wilderness, a dry land, a desert. Because of Yah's anger, she will not be inhabited, but will be completely desolate. All who pass by, America would be horrified and scoffed because of all her wounds. Now he's talking to the nation, and who he's mustering together to come against her. He says in verse 14, take up your positions around America. All you who draw the bow, all y'all that can shoot, take up your position. Every nation that can shoot. Now you start to see, we know that they don't have any relations, no good relations with China and Russia. They're the two world superpowers, the other two world superpowers. And now you understand why, or you're going to see why they have such problems with Iran in nuclear capabilities. And you're going to see why. Take up your positions round about America, all you who draw the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrow, for she has sinned against Yah. Shout against her on every side. She surrenders. She knows she ain't going to win this fight because with that technology, once y'all knock out that technology, she is open game. But as long as she got this technology, this electricity to be able to shoot off stuff, the nations will have a battle on their hands. But Yah says, I'm here. At the time when they fire the first shot, I'm here. Because these Aryans going to know that I mean business and my people are coming out of here. Because, see, they know as long as we got the creative people in here, no nation dares to come and touch them because they know that Yah is not going to allow the nations to destroy his people.
So see, you're saying that they're using black people as a shield against the other nations?
For so many words, they know that Yah is not going to let the nations come and destroy his people. That's why Yah says, flee out of her, lest you be destroyed along with her. Because when you hear that America is being attacked, don't stand still. Because a lot of our people, they love this nation. And they going to think, well, hey, America is the strongest, greatest nation on the face of the earth. We're going to win this war. They may tear up the nation, but we're going to win in the end. Y'all say, because this fight is going to last for only 1 hour. And the defeat of this nation comes in 1 day. This ain't one of them fights that's going to drag out 3, 4, 7, 10 years. No, y'all said in 1 hour on a single day. That's it. Let's pick it back up and recap at verse 15. It says, shout against her on every side. She surrenders, her towns fall. Her towers, fall. Her walls are torn down. Since this is the vengeance of Yah, take vengeance on her. Do to her as she has done to others. Cut off from America the sower and the reaper with his sickle at harvest. Because of the sword of the oppressor, let everyone return to his own people. Let everyone flee to his own land. That's never happened in history. That's never happened in world history ever. So we know that this is something to come. You can search all the history books. This has never happened. He says, Yasharal is a scattered flock that the lions have chased away. First to devour him was the king of Assyria.
Now, before we go, let's talk about that. When we're talking about, you call it Yasharal, but basically today it's known as Israel. And it's talking about let's talk about how the people of Israel was scattered. Break that down for me and how important that is.
Okay. Well, during the ancient times, and this is a lot. This is history right here. No, I'm just saying because this was something that we were talking about this past Saturday. Far as our people, where you got how the nation became split into the northern tribe and the southern tribe. The northern tribe was called Yasharal, or so you can follow me, Israel. But we're not talking about the Jews. We're talking about our people now.
Right.
Okay. So that was the northern tribe.
So let me get this right. Israel is where the Hebrews were in existence back then.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. And then we talk. And then is this Edom as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I apologize. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I just want to make this point because just remember, every time you read in Scripture and it talks about Edom or Elam or Esau, those are the ones those are those descendants, those Jews, the ones that call themselves Jews. They are not Hebrews. So you have to know that those are two separate individuals.
Right.
So every time you read Scripture, of course our people have been brainwashed that every time we read Scripture and it says Israel, we automatically have been programmed to think of those who call themselves Israel. But no, that's why we call our ancestral name by the proper term, which is Yashara'al. It's pronounced Yashara'al, but that's another story, and that goes into knowing how to read Hebrew and so forth. But it's Yashara'al, talking about the Hebrews.
Okay.
So they were the northern tribe, and the southern tribe was Yaquata, or what they say Judah. And what happened was one of the sons from the tribe of Ephraim, if I'm not mistaken, Rehoboam was the son, Jeroboam was the father. He was a king. Of course, he was a Hebrew, and he ruled over our ancestors, but he was a rough ruler. He was really, really rough. So when he died, his son, Rehoboam, said, okay, our people went to him and said, well, your father really was a rough king. He really ruled us and made our life really hard. So, we just asking, we'll serve you as king. We'll recognize you as the king of Yashara'al, but don't be like your father, kind of be a little lenient. So the elders of our people said, well, what the people have said is good. If you don't be so hard like your father was on the people will serve you gladly. They'll do anything you want them to do. But he was young, so he went and asked some of his homeboys. His homeboy said, no, man, roll him hard. Roll him real hard. Be worse than what your father was. So that's what he did. He said, he came back to the people. He said, nah, my father was rough on you, but I'm going to be twice as rough. So therefore, our people, the nation split. The northern tribes, the 10 northern tribes, served Jeroboam. But they went and served, I can't think of the king at that time that took them north. Because they said, no, we're not going to serve you as king. But the tribe of Yaquata, which was the southern tribe, stayed loyal to Rehoboam. So they served him. Even though he was a rough king, they served him. But that's where the split came, where the nation became north and south. You had Yashara'al, the 10 tribes that went north, and you had Yaquata that make up 3 tribes that stayed south. But the king of Assyria came and invaded the land and took those 10 tribes in 722 AD. And those of our people who don't have a clue to this very day that they are Yashara'al. They have been in the Assyrian Empire ever since 722 AD.
So you just defined who the Syrians are. There's some Hebrews in Syria.
Right. We got people all over the Middle East. Okay. All over the Middle East. So we're still there, but our people that went into that captivity under that Assyrian ruler they never returned. Those are what they call the lost 10 tribes. They never returned.
Okay.
But as for Yaquata, Benjamin, and Laquia, Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, these are the 3 tribes that when the Romans came into Jerusalem in 70 AD and destroyed it, these were the 3 tribes that were still there. So it's a possibility that we are a part of either one of those 3 tribes. Judah is the royal tribe. Judah is the royal tribe in which we kind of figure that we are of the house of Judah, because when all this stuff get ready to go down with America being destroyed and all the nations in this upheaval, Scripture says Judah shall be saved first. So that's us. Before he starts to gather all the rest of our brothers and sisters from the four corners of the earth. So that's how we kind of put two and two together as far as being Judah, since we're going to be delivered first, because we got to have somewhere to go for safety after this place that we call home is destroyed. We don't have anywhere to go.
Okay.
Can't go to Africa. We don't know anybody in Africa, so, that's just a little brief history. So that's what he's saying in verse 17. First to devour him was this king of Assyria, who took the northern 10 tribes.
Okay, which is the Syrians.
Right.
Okay.
Which are their Syrians. And he says the last to crush his bones was this king Nebuchadnezzar. Remember when I was telling you about when our people went down, when they were down in Babylon? King Nebuchadnezzar was the king at that time where our people went down into Babylon that were left in the land, and they went down and served as slaves of King Nebuchadnezzar and his son after him for 70 years.
Who are they known as today? Can you say?
Say what?
Who are they known as today?
Who?
The people who were down in Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, like we know when we talk about these people who were devoured by the Assyrians, we know where they are now. We got some people over there in Syria.
Well, it's basically going to be the same people, because the only people that have changed their geographic location basically is us. Everybody still basically occupies the land that they occupy. We're the only people that's misplaced out of their native land. Everybody else still occupy the land that their ancestors occupied back in the ancient times.
Okay, all right. But when you talk about Nebuchadnezzar, where exactly was he ruling?
Nebuchadnezzar, he ruled ancient Babylon.
Which is where? What's that?
We would say ancient Babylon would be like modern day Iraq.
Okay.
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 So right here he's giving a brief history lesson. First to devour our people was the king of Assyria. Then the last was this king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. He's talking about that ancient time when our people went down into in Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar for 70 years. After that 70 years was up, they were asked who wants to go back to their homeland to rebuild the temple. Some of them left, but the majority of our people stayed in Babylon and just became basically a product of Babylon.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and then it says, verse 18, therefore, this is what Yah says, the Almighty, the All-Powerful of Yasharal says, I will punish the king of America and his land as I punished the king of Assyria. See, now he's making a distinction. The same way I destroyed Assyria in ancient times is the same way I'm going to destroy this king of America in modern times.
How was Syria destroyed?
Same way all the nations were destroyed, by warfare.
Okay.
See, that's what Yah does, and that's what you will read throughout our history, how Yah raises up different nations to destroy other nations. Because once a nation has ran its course, you serve no more purpose. He told Abraham that this nation right here, it's only good for 400 years. After the servitude of his people's time is up, this nation serves no purpose anymore. This was a jail for his people for the disobedience of our ancestors. That's the only reason why we had to come here.
And then we're going to talk about that disobedience later on too.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you following me so far?
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. And so he says, I will punish the king of America and his land as I punished the king of Assyria. But I will bring Yasharal back to his own pasture. He's going to bring us back to our own land. And he will graze upon Mount Carmel and Bashan. His appetite will be satisfied on the hills of Ephraim and Gilead. In those days, at that time, declares Yah, search will be made for Yasharal's guilt, but there will be none, and for the sins of Yaquata, but none will be found. For I will forgive the remnant that I spare. The remnant is the 144,000. Every time you read in the scripture about the remnant, that's who he's talking about, the 144,000, who he's going to save from his people.
Now, let me ask you this, because I hear that, I've heard that a lot, and I'll hear, but I don't hear, people who call themselves Christians, I don't hear them saying that. I hear more, you'll hear that from, like, Jewish people or, they'll start talking about, 144,000 are going to heaven. And that's what they said, but you're saying that 144,000 represents what exactly?
The 144,000. Well, you know what? See, I just like to read it to you. I don't want to just say
okay,
it.
Where is it? Where is it?
Let's turn to Revelation. Let's just read.
Wait, have we finished this part yet?
No, but let's just pause for a second right there. Hold your spot. Let's go read who the 144,000 are.